Street Fighter 6 Season 3 Pass was recently announced, and they'll introduce 4 new playable characters into the game, and these 4 characters being Sagat, C Viper, Alex, and Ingrid. Honestly, most of these characters don't surprise me. I feel like the only surprising character mentioned here is Ingrid. Ingrid is such a mysterious character in the Street Fighter franchise, so I'm interested to see what they're going to do with her from a lore perspective in this game. After hearing this announcement, I couldn't help but think, what other Street Fighter characters would I like to see in Street Fighter 6, or which Street Fighter characters have been forgotten completely from the franchise? Street Fighter has such a big roster, and there are so many characters that have been introduced since Street Fighter's early beginnings that it's so hard for me to pick which character I feel has been forgotten and needs to be in Street Fighter 6. The character that I'm going to start talking about in this video is Maki. Maki is a character who debuted in Final Fight 2 and then also made an appearance in Capcom vs SNK 2, and she was also in Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper, but since then she has not appeared in any Street Fighter game. Maki is this blonde character who styles her hair in a ponytail, and she also wears a red ninja outfit. Her fighting style is Bushin Ryu, which is the same style that Guy also practices. Personality wise, we know that she is a bit cocky and tomboyish, and she dislikes the fact that Guy became the 39th master of Bushin Ryu. She thinks that Guy is not worthy of being a successor of the Bushin Ryu style. Street Fighter 6 managed to introduce a new character in the mix, that character being Kimberly. Kimberly is a character that also uses the Bushin Ryu style, but she also mixes with her own techniques such as using graffiti and being a very acrobatic character. So when I saw Kimberly in the game, I couldn't help but think of Maki. I thought that maybe this was Capcom's way of sort of replacing Maki in a sense, because they already had a character who is a female who uses the Bushin Ryu style, so why create a new character? Of course, Kimberly, from a lore perspective, Kimberly is an interesting character because her master is Guy. So Guy taught her the Bushin Ryu style, but then she added her own new twist to it. Maki's fighting style is pretty similar to Kimberly's because, I mean, they're both Bushin Ryu practitioners. Maki has some pretty good normals, she has some great rushdown tools, and she also has some really decent grapple mechanics. I guess her fighting archetype is sort of like a rushdown grappler character. So it was really interesting to see Kimberly, who is also kind of feels like she has the same type of archetype as Maki. I think it would be interesting to have Maki in Street Fighter 6 just to see her interaction and her impression of Kimberly. It would be interesting to see what she thinks of Kimberly's Bushin Ryu style, and also finding out that Kimberly is Guy's student and that he taught her Bushin Ryu style. So it would be interesting to see what that would be like from a lore perspective, and also how would she react to finding out that Guy actually has a student, and maybe she would ask Kimberly, where is Guy now, because Guy is also a mysterious character. He's just nowhere to be seen, and maybe Maki can be able to track Guy through Kimberly, and we can also find out what Guy has been up to all this time. Don't know if Guy will also be a part of this game, but it would be interesting from a lore perspective to see all these 3 Bushin Ryu practitioners together. For me, I would love to see Maki in Street Fighter 6. I think she has a cool design, and I think she's interesting in her own right, but I highly doubt that she will be in this game because I can't help but think that Kimberly has kind of replaced her in Street Fighter, or Kimberly has taken her spot in this game at least, because I don't really see the point of having 2 female Bushin Ryu practitioners. But maybe they could become rivals or something, and like I said, I feel like there's a lot to be desired in the story of Maki, Kimberly, and Guy together, but I don't really think Maki will be in this game. She wasn't even announced in the Season 3 pass, so it's highly unlikely that she will appear in Street Fighter 6, but we can only hope. Another Street Fighter character that I feel like has been forgotten is Ego. Ego is this tall, muscular man who has blonde hair and a mustache, and he also has a scar on each side of his face. Just like Maki, Ego appeared in Capcom vs SNK 2 and he also appeared in Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper. Ego's fighting style is known as Eskrima. Eskrima is a martial art characterized by using weapons. It's a weapon-based fighting technique. And in this case, Ego uses the two sticks in his hands. And I feel like, I don't know why Street Fighter doesn't have a lot of weapon users. I feel like this is such a missed opportunity, like a fighting game with characters who don't really use weapons. I know it's called Street Fighter and everybody throws hands and kicks, but I still feel like it would be interesting to have more characters that use weapons, and Ego is one of those characters who just happens to be one who uses weapons. He's a weapon user, so I feel like it would be interesting to see him in Street Fighter 6. I doubt that he'll be in the game, but I feel like he would be a great addition because he fills that void, and I feel like there needs to be more weapon users generally. The character design is not that interesting, he just dresses formal. I just like him because he uses two sticks to beat up other characters, so yeah. Maki and Ego are the two characters that I would really love to see in Street Fighter 6, but other than those two, the other characters that I'd like to see are Sodom, because Sodom was in the background of many stages in Street Fighter 5, and now it's time for him to come to the front. I think he's been in the background for far too long. Another character I'd like to see is T.Hawk, because Zangief can't be the only big muscular male character in Street Fighter 6. Also, maybe it would be cool if T.Hawk and Lily are friends. I would also like to see Makoto in Street Fighter 6 because I feel like she's low-key underrated and I feel like she deserves this comeback. Even though I don't really like her fighting style that much, I'd like to see her in Street Fighter 6.
Another character I'd like to see in Street Fighter 6 is Menat. I really liked Menat's fighting style. I feel like it's very unique and I really enjoyed watching her style on opponents. Although I feel like it's highly unlikely that she'll show up in Street Fighter 6 because I feel like she was just a new character introduced in Street Fighter 5 and she fulfilled that role. But you never know, maybe she might come back. I also don't know if Menat was that popular to other people who watched and played Street Fighter 5. I don't know if she was like a fan favorite or that people liked her that much that they would want to see her in Street Fighter 6, but you never know. These are all the characters that I like to see in Street Fighter 6. Hopefully these characters can make an appearance in the game. Most of these characters haven't appeared in a Street Fighter game in such a long time and it feels like they've been forgotten, so it would be really cool if they would appear in Street Fighter 6, but we can only hope. There are also some fan favorite characters that I expect to appear in Street Fighter 6, but I hope that these characters don't end up taking the place of these other characters that I've mentioned early on in the video, because I feel like most of the characters that I've mentioned in this video are those that haven't been in the game in a long time and that have sort of been forgotten, so I'd rather see them than some of the fan favorites that I also like. But we'll see what happens as time progresses. Maybe both of the fan favorite characters and the forgotten characters can appear in Street Fighter 6, but only time will tell. Yeah, that's all from me. Thanks for watching.